So right now, something Source wanted me to share about the energy of authenticity that individuals need to embody more of on a collective level for Gaia's ascension is what is coming for me to share. And Source had me tap into these energies, especially in the spiritual community as well, of what's being used, the manipulation tactics still in the spiritual community, because we are all being affected by what's going on, the remnants of the capitalistic society that we're living in at this time. So, especially on social media, traffic is something of a importance, right? And to have more traffic, there are people who are doing this professionally, right? They're manipulating algorithms and how to target more audience to your niche and everything and all that. So it's a whole profession and whole industry at this time. And what we've been, I would say, educated on, conditioned with, is the manipulation tactic. And we are using this at this time without much conscious awareness is the big message that has been coming through. And they had me go through these certain energies, and I had to tap into the energies and really reflect and study the energies and then dissect it. And one of the things that they had me notice was what's going on in the spiritual community is within the social media sphere, right? At this time, it's a kind of a popular thing to say type 111 or type 888 if you want to claim this message. And some even add like, if you don't, you're being stingy. And so don't be stingy with your energy, interact, blah, blah, blah. Or some will say, unless you claim this, blah, blah, blah. And some even say, the Spirit is telling me, Spirit is guiding me that you share this video right now, save this video right now, and come back to me when that happens and share, blah, blah, blah. So what are these implying? And where is this coming from? And why are they using these conditions? If it had no benefits, that's the energy that I needed to tap into and understand first, because I didn't want to come from judging someone. I just needed to understand the phenomena in order to communicate with Source, Gaia, what needs to be done as light workers, right? At this time for Gaia's ascension, because that's why we are here. And that's why we need to understand the lower vibrational energies that's taking over the energetic space of Gaia at this time. And we need to help it elevate in one way or another with the raising of the consciousness. So everybody is free to share their perspective and what they say. And from my own comings, what I have discovered and noticed was a lot of the conditional pressure that we've been learning, that we have been taking on, and that a lot of people, even in the spiritual community, some really believe that that's how you need to interact with the energies of, like give and take and stuff like that. But from my own personal experiences and from my own dissection of that energy, and every individual held different intentions when I tapped into it, Some were doing it unconsciously, habitually. Some were doing it out of subconscious need to benefit from it. Some were doing it with deception energy, that using like the punishment and reward system on a subconscious level, right? If you don't, you're not gonna get this. And what it's all creating is basically it's creating or sending out this energetic frequency to Gaia or on Earth at this time of more of the energy of fear of missing out, because we are all sovereign. We are free to choose. We have the free mind to decide what is best for us. And the divine doesn't ask you to confirm or save the video in order to claim the energy. It's about one's own belief. But it was very interesting that as psychic readers, or all these like people in the spiritual community with psychic gifts, doesn't mean on a conscious awareness level they have matured in a way, meaning leveled up with their level of consciousness, so to speak. So this is kind of my intention is not to come from like criticizing or judging them, but just describing what is going on as a phenomena to have more awareness, or to raise more awareness or consciousness on these things that we are perhaps doing it habitually. For those of you who may resonate and need this, that everybody holds the sovereign power to decide and to create, to claim the energy without these conditional pressures or conditions attached to anything. And the energy needs to be unconditional, but this is creating a lot of conditions, which is tied to the energy of fear. And especially when people are chasing after good news, so to speak, or good messages that something good's gonna happen, because when you are in a place of deep darkness, going through certain self-discovery or healing phase or whatever it is that one may be going through uniquely, one naturally seeks the energy of hope, because it's very dark in there. They want to see the light. And so that's how it gets attracted. And that's how that need or that desire is being manipulated. Just like how marketing is done, how branding is done at this time. They use emotional vulnerability not as an authentic expression of oneself, but a lot of the times with influencers that they have me tap into. At first, they may have been doing it with sincerity, but as time goes by, they understand how people are reacting, and they are now getting educated with that. So they're using that information to manipulate. So they're using emotional vulnerability, personal storytelling as tactics or as strategy to keep the community or to grow their community, however it is, on social media, rather than being sincere and genuine. So that's the energy that we need to transform at this time, as individuals are going to be under the influence of the celestial support of having to tap into more of their authentic self as a result. So eventually these individuals will face their triggers or something of that shadow aspect as they go through their soul evolution journey. And the purpose and intention behind this message sharing is that just that awareness, that we need to be aware of these things as well. All the things that we used to do out of old patterns on an individual level, but also on a collective level, is what Source had me emphasize through this message. That they meaning Source and Gaia, right, gave me this personal assignment in a way for me to tap into energetically. That those people who are doing this may continue to do so unless they believe or align with something different or some different belief, because everyone's perspective will create their own unique truth. So for them, they may be believing that that's how it works, and if that's how it is for them, so the purpose is not to individually criticize or judge these things happening, but as a whole, we just need to understand what is going on from a neutral perspective. And so people do not have to subconsciously fear that they will be faced with some sort of negative consequences if they don't save or share this post, or however it is. If they want to do it, that is fine, but just that conditional part, because every word that we speak, every intention that we put in, every thought that we hold is anchoring the energy of the collective of Gaia. That's the I would say the utmost significance with this message, or the key message, I would say. That that's something, that's one thing. So when you are sharing your stories or emotionality of something that you went through, one needs to sit before speaking and really reflect where the intention is coming from, and align with that first, and then get into that state from a heart space rather than the mind space is what is coming. So we are moving from living in survival to living in moment-to-moment flow state that requires a lot of moving from the mind to the heart, and that also requires opening up the heart and stuff like that. So that has been coming through for me for the past 2-3 weeks. And then today, suddenly, I felt the call to share this message, or this processing that I had, that I was guided to do by Source. So okay, I just want to tap into Source. I want to ask, is this all for today? Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this, but he or she or Source wants me to highlight it once again, or if I had forgotten about mentioning it before. Some even say the divine is speaking to me that you interact with this video, or you share this video, or you save this video. It is deception is what is coming. It is from their ego. It's not from a higher self. It has nothing to do with that reader's ability to psychically connect, or just basically their spiritual gifts and talents. Has nothing to do with that. It's just that person is coming from the ego space, that on a subconscious level, that they may not be aware consciously, but subconscious level, there's something that they need to work with, and they're habitually saying these things. And I have experienced this personally in 2023 when I interacted with 2 other souls reincarnated on Earth at this time from my Egyptian Isis timeline. One was saying a very similar thing. And energetically, I knew immediately. I questioned because the energy wasn't right. And she was saying, oh, the spirit is telling me now to pre-sell this and that and blah, blah, blah. They wouldn't do that. Not in a way that how she was presenting it in that moment. And I knew that she was lying. So that kind of energies are very much still going on in the spiritual community space. So, and it was, for me, like first experiencing it, it was very interesting. It had nothing to do with the gift, spiritual gift. But on a human level, these things were playing out. So that also means that on an individual level, we need to continuously work on integrating the separated aspects within and integrating the ego within to connect more with our higher self, moving onwards. Is what is coming for me to mention and share for those of you who are going to resonate. And if you do not resonate, if you do not agree, or you are feeling triggered that I disagree with that, and or feeling defensive that I don't see that as blah blah blah, it's perfectly fine, because we are not to get angry, but we are to honor our truths and express our truths, and express and share our unique perspective that is coming from my heart, coming from the truth of the heart. That when you know that your intention is pure, that's all that matters, and everything else will be a projection of someone's perspective, wanting to judge what is right or what is wrong from a conditional standpoint. So that's also going to be a challenge for someone who may be coming across this video. And that is also part of the purpose of this video, is what is coming through from source. So I'm sharing that, and I hope this helps someone out there. And then I'll see you in my other videos. Bye.